Yo, everybody, it's Willie Jello Johnson for the Titus Podcast. Do me a favor. This episode brought to you by Harrys.com. So go to Harrys.com/Titus, promo code Titus, and get the best damn raises you ever had. And now, with this badass Armageddon update, get ready, people. Christopher Titus!
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Ha-ha! You know, our first podcast ever was about the Jared Loughner shooting at the Safeway. And if you're listening right now and you are an anti-gun law American, you're going to want to turn the dial. Go ahead. Because if after this shooting and the one 2 days earlier where a singer was shot while signing autographs, and Aurora, Newtown, Fort Hood, Charleston, and the 133 mass shootings we've had this year alone, if you can't face the fact that this country needs a serious rewrite of its gun rules, then I don't want you listening anymore. I really don't. And if you don't have the common sense, heart, and patriotism to even try for a solution, then you aren't smart enough to get the humor of this podcast anyway. Would it surprise you that I've owned guns? Would it surprise you that my dad took me shooting once? We shot guns at a landfill. My dad wanted to go. I asked why. He said, I don't need this bullshit to show I'm a man. Let's go. I never saw my dad pick up a gun again. Dad was a real man. I saw him punch out more than a few guys who questioned that fact. I don't understand the reason for all the conflict when it comes to guns. It's a dangerous weapon, period. Why is it so easy to get one? It's harder to get a car or a license, yet these people keep saying, my rights, my rights. Well, what about those 49 people in Orlando? Or Christina Grimmie? Or Caleb, a young comic whose wife was pregnant when they went to see Batman in Aurora, Colorado. He laid on top of her so she didn't get killed. And as that Joker-looking psycho put bullets into him, he lived, but he'll never be the same. What about their rights, huh? You know, we Americans are simultaneously the most generous and most selfish nation. We help so many countries. Our people are givers. And as a matter of fact, people have given almost $3 million to the victims of the Orlando shooting, and it's only been a few days. Yet when it comes to doing the right thing, we are a country of selfish fucks, willing to do nothing because of profit. Our leaders on the right are selfish fucks for not caring about a citizen and making sane gun laws, setting responsible limits so 49 people aren't gunned down while they're dancing. Instead, they kneel down, chicken heads, and just keep sucking the dick of the lobbyists and the NRA. If this seems a little harsh, I can only say it's not as harsh as pumping bullets into innocent people because it's so easy to get a gun. To all the selfish out there who don't want to hassle with registering their weapon, why? What are you up to? Government can't take your gun? Because you have a gun, idiots. To all the selfish who don't want to have a limit put on how many bullets the weapon can shoot, why? Why do you need so many? What are you planning? To those who are so selfish that they want no limit on how many guns you can own, why? Why? Wouldn't you deal with a little hassle, answer a few questions, register your weapon, or support mental health screening, federal registering, and biometric locks on all weapons? It's because you want what you want, like a fucking 2-year-old throwing a tantrum. You know, I thought I lived in a better country than that, a country that was by the people and for the people. Instead, I live in a country that is full of selfies, narcissism, and open-carry numbnuts, a selfish place where what you want is more important than what we as a healthy country need. So nothing will change because of the selfish fucks, the NRA, the Republican Congress, every one of you who says, you can take my gun from my cold, dead hands. Okay, I guess with 133 mass shootings this year alone, that's how it's probably going to fucking be. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus Podcast. With me as always to the right, Bombshell Rae, and to the left, the fetus. So I'm in a mood. I'm tired of this. From the very first podcast we did, the very first one was about a horrific shooting. We have talked this ad nauseum. We have bitched about this. We have complained about this. We have countered every fucking argument from people. And here's the thing, guys. You got to be really clear. I don't want to take your guns. I want you to have guns. I just want to make sure idiots don't fucking have guns. You know, my brother-in-law is an amazing person with a weapon. He can hit 100 shots, center mass, every time, never, in a row. No, doesn't miss. That's how good he is. I like that he has a gun. You know what? He's one of the good people on this planet that actually can handle it. He works in law enforcement. He's a badass. These dumb fucks that are carrying guns around Denny's, long rifles into Denny's because I'm open carrying, you're just pussies. You actually can't really stand up for yourself. If you're so scared about the world or life that you're actually walking into a Denny's with a long rifle, you're kind of a pussy. And whatever point you're trying to make is invalid. You know, the Second Amendment was written 200 and something years ago. And it was written at a time when Spain or England could have attacked us. And what it meant was we should all have guns in case that happens. Right now, people think, yeah, if you don't have guns, what if the government takes us over? Well, okay, well, let's say this. What if you have guns and the government takes you over? Huh? What's going to happen then? You actually think you're going to shoot down a Predator drone? Think you're going to take out a fucking tank? How about a howitzer? You think so? How about a tactical nuke? You think that little Glock you have is going to help you? Going to protect you? Do you think so? Because it's not. It's a lame argument. Yeah, well, cars kill people too. Okay, let's deal with that piece of shit argument too. You know, cars, by the way, are pretty much do billions of miles a year, and everybody has one. And if you look at the percentages per mile, they kill way less than guns. That's right. Yeah, you can throw numbers around, but the reality is cars are cars. They're for something else. Guns are to kill. But let's do this. Let me take your argument a little further. Okay, let's compare cars to guns. Cars have insurance, yearly registration. They have to pass a massive amount of safety inspections by the government. They have to actually fit into categories so they don't kill people. That's what, and they still do. So let's do that. Let's put all the guns through safety inspections, safety rules by the government. Any gun that is tested by the NHTCA, is that what it is? NTHCSA, whatever, National Highway Traffic Safety Association. Let's put guns under that too. And then basically they have to pass a stringent amount of government regulations. And then when you buy one, you got to sit down with the guy when you buy your gun and fill out 40 pages of paperwork like you do when you buy a car. How about that? Oh, and then before you walk with that gun, you have to show that you have gun insurance. That's right. Before you can take it out of the gun dealership, you have to have gun insurance. How about that? On top of that, you have to register it every year. And just like getting a driver's license, you have to go back and requalify every 4 years. How about that? So there's your car argument. Any other arguments? They're my rights. Well, you know what? The Constitution was written as a living document. Let me continue, because I'll go through every one of these fucking arguments, because they're all bullshit. You know, you got piles of dead Americans. These arguments are all bullshit. Our founding fathers were so smart, they realized that they didn't know what the future held. They realized that things were going to change. That's how brilliant these guys were. And I'm sure they had no concept that you could hold a cigarette-sized pack in your hand and watch TV on it. They didn't even know what TV was. So they made the Constitution a living, breathing document. That's why there's amendments. That's why there's a ton of amendments. And you know what you're supposed to do? You're actually supposed to change it. So it's time to change it. Now, one more thing. Hi, Rachel. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm tired of this argument. I'm tired of seeing people dead. I'm just tired.
Am I on?
You're not on. Actually, I turned everybody off. Hold on. 3, 2, you're on.
So they never heard me say what's up, people. So you've just been talking for 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And by the way, that's low for me. 8 minutes is low for me.
Hi, everybody. So I just am about to pop because you're just sort of, talking and not breathing. But I do think that it is...
I was getting lightheaded, frankly. I will be honest, I was getting lightheaded.
It is mildly ironic that people are standing behind the Second Amendment as it protects their rights to own weapons, and that the Constitution can't be changed because it's in the Constitution, and yet the argument that you're pointing to is actually an amendment to the Constitution. Right. It's actually something that changed the Constitution.
Not the Bible.
Because there arose a need at that time for a change. Mm-hmm. So it makes me think people are stupid for pointing to that amendment, focus on the word amendment, and saying the Constitution can't be changed.
Right.
Well, I just want to say this right off the bat because I think a lot of people just tune out instantly, and I think that people think that you think and I think and whatever that you shouldn't have guns, and certainly I don't think that. I have a gun. I have had a gun since I think I came out of my mom's womb with a gun. My father was a Marine.
I did too. I had a holster.
What?
Well, we call it a butt crack now, but that's where my gun was.
But you were a California boy. I was raised in the South. It's a little bit different. It's a big deal. My father is a member of the NRA. My father is retired military. I come from a long line of retired military and law enforcement.
We had a rifle and a small cannon on our mantle. I understand guns.
Yeah, but there's just got to be some change. And if you continue to point to your amendment as protecting you to do whatever the fuck you want to do with your guns, the problem is that also enables these other people that shouldn't get them to do the same thing.
Right.
So if we were pointing to the Constitution as being the be-all and end-all, then why are we no longer having slaves and counting slaves, black people, as 3/5 of a person?
How come we're drinking again?
That was constitutional.
Yeah, it was in the Constitution. Yeah.
Also, technically, if we were following the Constitution, Mitt Romney would be our vice president because the runner-up would have become the vice president.
Right.
These are all things that we're fine with not practicing or following. We're fine with changing and evolving, seeing maybe a better way to do it, but nobody will even open dialogue about what's going on.
Right.
And that's what blows my mind. I sit there and I'm watching this Orlando thing and crying about it because now, and it's normal. Your kids were like, oh yeah, it's another shooting. And I'm trying to talk to them and say, no, you guys need to be aware. You need to start finding exits. If someone feels weird, you need to just trust your gut. And they're looking at me like I'm an idiot. Your daughter looked at me like, yeah, but it doesn't happen here.
Yeah, we had a talk, guys. Here's the scariest part of this whole thing is that Bombshell and my kids are at the house, and it was going on TV, and I think it was the next day, and we sat down and I had a serious talk in the kitchen about, guys, here's what you do. I go with your gut. These people heard those shots and didn't do anything. You can see the video of it. You hear something that sounds wrong, run. Take off.
But it was so out of context. You watch that girl on Snapchat. The gunshots start, and she just looks confused for a second.
Yeah, her eyes kind of go to the side like,
Yeah, because it was out of context. No one expects that to happen. Well, now, in the society that we live in, with people that refuse to get into conversation about what can be done to fix it, that is becoming a norm for us, where we need to start thinking, when you hear gunshots, if you're in the theater, if you're at church praying, if you're in your kid's elementary school, those are real gunshots, and you need to know what to do when that happens. My father actually called me. My father called me to talk to me about training again with a handgun, carrying a handgun again, looking when every theater we go to, looking at the exits, getting armed security when we're on the road. I mean, this is a conversation I'm having with my father now, and it wasn't tongue-in-cheek.
Well, especially, like, that's what was my first thought after the thing in Orlando. The first thing in Orlando was, oh, great, this could have been, someone could have just walked into the back of the comedy club.
The Christina Grimmie thing?
Yeah. While I'm signing stuff, where we're signing stuff, they could have come and walked up, or they could have actually walked in the back of the comedy club. Don't shake your head.
I don't think you should say that, is why I'm shaking my head.
I'm just saying that it could have been anybody. That's the weird thing about this. I've been going through Twitter wars with these idiots. You guys do understand that anywhere you could be standing now, someone could walk in with a gun, and you know what would happen? Our country, is in its current form, would just go blink and go, oh, can I go to their GoFundMe page?
I stand with Orlando.
I stand with Orlando. Do you really stand with Orlando?
One prayer.
Yeah, right. What are you going to do? What are we doing? So at the end of the day, what kind of American are you? Let's ask that, because we've talked about this ad nauseum. We've talked about the gun thing to death.
You're a little fired up, by the way.
I'm angry.
And I just want to say I was shaking my head because of the world that we live in. I don't think that you should put that idea out there. I don't think you should.
It's not going to happen.
But do you see what I mean? Like, that's the climate that we live in. Where
you're so freaked out that you didn't me bring it up. Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what kind of American are you?
And I also just want to put out there that we normally do travel with armed security in the form
all
of
the time
Agent
now.
Squashy.
Yeah. So we usually with the season in the back of the
federal agent.
Yeah, I would say that. Be very careful if you decide, because when this guy's an expert marksman, it's pretty crazy. If it does happen, and he's concealed carry, if it does happen,
he's taking pictures.
You're gonna
in
go.
The merch line.
You're gonna go. Yeah, you're gonna stand up. You're gonna raise the barrel, and then you're gonna be in another place. You're gonna be why is there hellfire? Why are things burning now? What kind of American are you? That's what I want to ask today. What kind of American are you? You know, at the end of the day, look at it this way. What if 50 Americans were killed in another country? What if there was 133 shootings in some other country, where some other country was targeting Americans in places of innocence, dancing? What if that was happening? Well, if that was happening, what we would do is vaporize that fucking country. If some country was actually just going out of the way and shooting Americans, we would just level it. We would be there, we would own it, we'd have a base there, and it would never happen again. But in our own country, we seem to be fine with it. Now, I'm not really going for comedy today, because 50 people died. I don't really think it's okay to be funny today. I really don't. It'll happen, but I really am not trying for it. What I'm trying for is to kind of wake the people up and go, how much of a selfish fuck are you? I'm not saying get rid of your guns. I'm just saying, when are we going to do something? You want to keep bringing up cars? Let's put as many regs on guns as we have on cars. It's a deadly weapon. That makes sense to me. Doesn't it make sense to you? You're a gun guy, Fetus.
Yes,
I mean, you're a big gun guy. I mean, like from your family, like
Yeah.
you on the up in the
woods.
up in the woods. You lived where the militia goes. There's probably compounds around you, and yet even you believe that it's time. Yes,
Absolutely.
And here's the thing, guys. No one's saying take your guns. That's not the fight we get. Take my guns from my cold dead hands. Well, that's probably going to happen because there's enough mass shootings, and eventually it's going to be you. Eventually it's going to be one of us. So. Biometric weapons. People's like, it doesn't work. Well, we have nothing now. So your iPhone opens in 1/200,000th of a second. Boom, it's open. There you go. Biometrics, insurance on your gun, federal registration. Because then we don't have people go, yeah, there's gun laws. Let's do the gun laws that are already in thing. Well, guess what? You can drive across the state line and get a new gun law. You can just drive across the state line.
That's the problem. It's not federal.
No, you can go to a gun show and pretty much get what you want.
Yep.
And here's what we found. We have a very interesting video Bombshell and I watched. So they interviewed I think Trevor Noah showed it. It was really interesting. They showed
Al Qaeda leader.
one of the Al Qaeda leaders was on television, and his video to his followers was "Go to America, go to America. Don't worry about taking guns when you get there. It is so easy to get guns. Why wouldn't you go now?"
He says go to a gun show. You can go across the street and leave with, and he lists like assault rifles, everything. And he's telling
there was a picture of all these assault weapons because you can get these anywhere. He was telling the terrorist to go, not to take your guns into America, go to America to get guns. So you people out there that are like, Second Amendment, I should be able to buy a gun when I want, where I want. Well, let me tell you something. You've also made it so every fucking terrorist on the planet can get into this country, can go to a gun show and buy a gun too. So I want you to know, by doing nothing, all you're doing is helping the terrorists. Do you understand that? Let's put it in that context. By doing nothing, what you're doing is helping the terrorists, NRA. Nice job.
Well, plus, if you're a decent human being that should have a gun, then you would have no problem just going through a few more steps.
Right.
To
That's
get
what I'm
your
saying.
That's what I'm saying, too.
If you're someone that's loudly and belligerently arguing and refusing to do that, that makes me think that maybe you shouldn't have a
You
gun.
probably
You're
wouldn't
not
pass those.
You're not of sound judgment or reason.
Yeah, and if you're wearing an I'm with stupid t-shirt and you got a long rifle slung over your back while you're in a freaking restaurant, you're an idiot.
The thing is that liberty and freedom, it's not a one-way street. So
True.
I feel like for all these people that are crying this, and I never thought I'd see myself in this position of arguing this, having grown up with weapons my whole life.
But
we're in a different climate now, and I'm now looking at dead children who got sawed in half, and it's a problem for me now. It's humanity issue now.
I check exit at movie theaters now.
You should be
Do you know
able,
I check exit how to get out of here?
Your liberty also entitles you to go to send your kids to kindergarten, to go to a nightclub, to go to church, to go to college, to go to your job, to go to an abortion clinic, to go to a hair salon, a community center, or a supermarket. Liberty also entitles Americans to that right as well, and nobody's considering that.
So gun owners. And just so you know, I'm a gun owner. Just so you know. What is everybody else's rights worth? And that's why I'm calling you a bunch of selfish fucks. Because at the end of the day, all you want is what you want. I want my toys. That's what a 4-year-old says. I don't care what you want. I want it. And then he throws a tantrum. And your tantrum is Second Amendment. Take my rights away. Blah, blah, blah. Communism. Well, just so you know, everybody who supports these open gun selling laws, you're supporting the terrorists.
You're only supporting terrorism.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that totally. Not just terrorism. Crazy people
Right.
who are planning to become mass shooters. You're supporting those people. You're not supporting, again, someone with sound judgment who's going to get a weapon like they should, and you're not supporting that because those people will do it anyway. My brother will still go and qualify and pay for his insurance and use a biometric. You know what I mean? That kind of person will still do that because he's an honorable citizen that wants his guns for a purpose, for protection, and
I also believe you could turn it into a game. Okay, so let's say you have to qualify every 2 years, right? You have to requalify for every 2 years. Wouldn't it be cool to have to qualify at the government target range and get like a platinum level like thing or a gold level thing where you're like, holy crap, dude, I got platinum this year. it would become this thing, and people go, yeah, but Switzerland, everybody has guns. Okay, all right, Sweden or Switzerland, whatever, one of the SW countries. They, you know what they have? They have to go to military service. That's why they all have guns. So they spend years with a weapon and learn to respect it. Not some douchebag that can just go to Walmart. And I have to say, I'm going to give a shout out to Walmart. Do you know Walmart stopped selling the AR-15? Stopped selling the semi-automatic weapon? They were just like, no, not anymore. Sorry. I have
never. I said this yesterday because you know how I feel about Hillary Clinton and in general, and I've never just had her on TV and started fist pumping in my underpants. I was like, yeah.
Oh, I love that fist pumping in my underpants. You just made my whole day. I need a minute.
Because she said yesterday, because people are like, oh, 9/11, 9/11. Well, okay, so good that you brought 9/11 up because they didn't use guns. You're right. They used box cutters and airplanes.
Right.
And after they did that, we now my grandmother, my 82-year-old grandmother, both ways from Cleveland and back to New Bern, North Carolina, got patted down because she has metal knees. My 82-year-old grandma, you have to do an X-ray.
She's part Terminator.
I get my hands swabbed every time I go through the metal detector because I'm holding the dogs and I can't go through the thing. And so we've taken a lot of precautions. There didn't used to be that much security at the airport. You used to be able to just walk in.
Yep.
Your people can't walk in to
you used
greet
to be able to
you
walk
anymore.
to the gate. Yeah, you used to be able to walk to the gate.
When you pull into LAX, they have bomb-sniffing dogs that sniff your cars. They randomly pull people over. So we actually reacted to that problem. They used airplanes, and we reacted to that. Hillary Clinton said yesterday, she said, I can't carry a full-size shampoo bottle onto an airplane, and yet some guy who was on an FBI watch list can go and purchase an assault rifle.
Right. So does anyone
pumping in my
else?
underpants.
So I would just want to say there's another argument slammed. You bring up 9/11 again. 9/11. Look what happened. 9/11. Yeah, but we made rules. How many 9/11s do we need? You know. Okay, so 9/11 killed 3,000 people. Last year we killed 12 with weapons in this country. Americans. 12,000 people died from handguns. 23 toddlers shot people.
Yeah, there's
Go
a
ahead.
problem.
Fetus raised his hand, which is always cute. It's always, I feel like we're in a classroom. Fetus is just in his corner saying, I have something to say. Go ahead.
Well, I also love like you said earlier, the car argument. Just saying that, hey, cars kill people too, bro. Well, when
spoons kill people. Do you know people died of spoons last year?
Well, when cars were increasing in fatalities back before there were all the safety measures, people didn't go, well, that's just because all the morons have cars and they're bad drivers. No, they implemented seatbelts and airbags and all these tests and everything.
And it's continuous.
Crush
zones.
Yeah, and they made them safer because people were dying.
Safety glass.
Could you imagine if they had just gone with cars and just said, oh, that's just because dumb people are driving them?
You know what? We're just going to keep putting bigger motors in the Model T. I know it just crumples up and everybody instantly dies, but hey, just don't be stupid.
Yeah, don't be stupid. Just learn how to drive better.
That's the thing. If you're automatically shutting off about guns, then you've bought into the propaganda that they want you to buy into. And you would have to just think, why? Why is this a hot button issue where cars were killing people? So we did some technological advances and we fixed cars. So what is the difference? I wonder what is the difference.
Fear.
And I don't know. I don't know, but why? Why would they generate fear? And one thing that came to mind to me today, and I've talked about this before on the podcast.
Men have small penises.
That is correct.
Okay.
And that has a lot to do
She's
with
talked about that on the podcast
everything,
before.
pretty much in this situation. But every person so far responsible for a mass shooting, and it hasn't come out about this guy yet, was on SSRI drugs, inhibitor drugs. Mm-hmm. Every single one, back to Columbine, throughout everyone, not one. So who would be putting so much money into Republicans' pockets? Who would be lobbying so hard to cloud the issue so that people aren't looking at what's causing the problems? They're just like, guns! I'm not going to talk about it. Screw you. It's the weirdest climate that we live in that people won't even go, wait, we just had 23 children sawed in half. We got to talk about this. They don't.
50 of the most fun people on the planet, 50 gay people in a gay nightclub got killed. Wait, can we stop and have a conversation?
They weren't all gay people. There
was women who didn't want to be dealt with. But
I used to hang out.
You know why? Because you don't get jacked with when you go to a normal club. Women
It's
just
the
get
most
hassled.
fun. I used to
Right.
hang out at Central Station.
I
Actually,
just want to dance, Sheila.
there was a guy there, a mother there that was there with her son, hanging out with him. She survived cancer twice, mother of 11 kids, was there hanging out with her son, 49 years old, and she got killed. It's stupid to even assume that all these people are gay or whatever, but
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's 40.
I used to go to Central
49
Station
Americans.
in Shreveport, Louisiana. Oh, man. And at 1 a.m., they would always play We Are Family. We are. And we would all do a, what do you call it? A conga line?
Yeah.
Up and down the stairs. This club was huge, and everyone would hold on to each other, and it was a lot of fun. So anyway, that was a random
And
thought.
so because of the laws we currently have, some asshole in the middle of that joy, hundreds and hundreds of people having joy, could have just walked in and started laying waste to Americans.
But I'm saying, if you automatically felt annoyed, and by any chance you're still listening, because most people that are that annoyed don't listen, they just turn this off.
Yep.
But if you are,
I'm gonna put that up
so that you can listen to our argument, so that you can then throw them in our faces, which is what people do sometimes too. Stop and think why. Why do I get so automatically angry and turn it off when I wouldn't about the 21st Amendment that repealed the 18th Amendment? That was an amendment to the Constitution. That's fine.
Right.
Why don't I get mad about that?
Why don't I
is
get
it?
mad
What's
about alcohol?
behind it?
Why? How come you're still not mad that prohibition, that we changed it to, prohibition? We need prohibition again. People don't get fired about that anymore.
But just stop being reactive and start thinking, what propaganda have I been listening to that makes me automatically shut down? And who's behind that?
Yeah.
I'm saying drug companies, and if I die in a one-car accident this week, you all know why.
It's gonna be both of us dying in one car.
Oh no!
Yeah, I know
You're
your
gonna
check.
be with us,
Don't worry, your
probably.
check's on automatic pay. You're fine for a little while. You're fine till it runs out. So you'll have enough time to find work.
I'm trying to find an assistant right now.
Yeah.
And it's weird because you have to be with people to have an assistant.
I know.
I do have something I'd like to say.
Go.
If that's cool.
You could just say it. You don't have to.
No,
so-
I prefer this.
Oh, you like that? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
He knows that.
Could
I
you
know.
approve him having something to say? Can he go ahead?
Proceed.
Okay.
I know the gun issue is huge here too, but I also think that it's important that if you know somebody in the LGBTQA community,
What was the A?
I
for?
can't remember.
What was the new one they had that we liked?
LGBTQ.
What was the new one
thought
they had? There was a
there was
new
one
one. There was the new acronym that we found.
Oh, I can't remember what the new one.
Dare or
Some-
rape? What was? No, it wasn't rape.
It wasn't.
No.
rape.
No, it
No,
wasn't rape. It
definitely
wasn't rape. I remember it was.
Oh my gosh!
It was a good one.
Have you seen this freak pastor at Verity Baptist Church in California, of all places?
Yeah.
Who's
Did you see this
saying that
pastor?
the only bad thing that he hates is that the guy got killed before he could
Yeah.
finish the job?
Finish what you want to
Yeah.
say.
So if you know anybody in that community, ask them if they're okay and ask them how they're doing, because the media right now, there's a lot of we support Orlando and everything, but this was a major hit to that community, and it's important that it doesn't get overshadowed, because lots of people are saying, oh, this was a terrorist act, this had everything to do with terrorists, it's
It
all
wasn't.
ISIS. This arguably was more of a homophobic attack than it was a terrorist attack.
Yeah, this
And-
guy.
I would. Okay.
Well, here's
arguably.
I
This
would
guy
say
brought
that
up-
people didn't reach out to me because I'm straight and because people that were straight got killed. Or
Yeah,
I would just say in general, the day that we have true equality is when it doesn't. It's just.
Yeah, I never once went, oh my God, gay people
Gay
got. I went,
people died.
oh my God, more Americans got
Human
shot. Holy
beings.
crap! And when it was the children, I was like, the innocent. I mean, you can't between that elementary school and a dance club. I mean, is there any more innocent places on the planet? Like where just people
You
are
have
having a blast?
never been in a gay club if you think that that's an innocent.
You know
place.
what I mean? It's
Have
a
you
place.
ever been
It's
in
a
a
place
gay
of.
club?
No, because I don't like to stick to the floor.
Yeah, it is
exactly.
so fun and so raunchy.
But that's what I mean. It's joyous. It's
Free,
joy. It's
yeah.
free and joyous.
Yes.
It's not a place of. It's not a place of oppression. It's not a place of evil. It's a place of wee. That's what it is. In kindergarten, elementary school, wee. In all these places of wee are getting shot up, and it's like that. Not only that, but at what point can we all just face the facts that it's just again Americans are dying every day. And no one gives a shit. And if it was going on somewhere else in the world, and Americans were dying every day, we would be flipping the fuck out. We'd be flipping out. We got to take that country. Let's send troops in. We would go crazy. We would spend billions of dollars to stop it. and we're doing nothing.
There is something inside of people, to touch on what you said, that they, and I don't think that a lot of people would ever vocalize this, but compared to how many, social media postings I saw about Paris or Newtown, compared to how many you see about Orlando, how many people changed their profile picture when it was Paris, or, you know what I mean? And now, so there is something in there that bumps people that they would never admit because it was in a gay club.
The problem is that there's a video of this girl who was doing Snapchat. She wasn't gay, and you can see her. You hear horrible gunfire. It's horrible. She's actually, there's a couple Snapchats where people are dancing, drinks, hoisting their drinks up. It looks like any pub in the world.
It's eerie.
And then pop, pop, and it's loud. And her eyes go to the side, and you see the moment where she's shot, and it goes blank. She just goes, she kind of spins out of frame, and it's over. Wow, so we now have it on social media where someone got shot.
We actually had, and I just want to say this, that you had a comic, a kid that we met in Florida, Matt Hurlis. He listens to the podcast, and he wrote in because he knew you were going to do the podcast about this, and he wanted you to know how great his city was.
Yeah.
He said neither of these people came from here, the Christina Grimmie or this one. They drove here to this city, but he said that there were so many conversations about the horror of it, that the floor was so filled with blood that it was like standing water after a rain splashing. He said that the dead bodies stayed in there, and their cell phones are ringing off the hook on all these bodies because people are trying to find out if they're okay. But he wanted us to know how long the lines were for people to donate blood, that they were actually turning people away because so many people came out to support. And he wanted us to make sure to touch on the kinds of people that are there, the good that's also there. You know?
Between this shooting, Christina Grimmie, and the alligator that just ate the baby at Disney, I think Satan found a place to settle, and it's Orlando. And so just so you know, though, in the face of that, all that nightmare, we had people lined up from they raised. I believe the good in people will eventually come through. And I believe I've had a lot of gun owners tweet back and go, because everyone goes, "You just want to take my rights away." No, I just want you to have to go through a little more process to make sure that you're not a crazy fucker that's going to shoot up a comedy club, a nightclub, a concert,
grocery store,
a country store, a grocery store, a school. I just want to make sure that you have actually you were if you're going to own a dangerous, deadly weapon, it probably should know who you are. And everybody in Orlando has stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has stepped up. Orlando's a fun town. It is the theme park capital of the world. It is silly.
Orlando is where that guy rushed the stage.
Yeah. There's crazy in Orlando too, but you can get 20 T-shirts for like $4. It's great. Orlando's kind of nutty and fun. It is fun, and the people did step up.
I first thought my uncle was gay. My uncle is no longer alive. He lived in Florida. My first thought was about him. And, like, this one just hit me really hard. It's not that I think that any of them haven't hit me hard, but I just feel like the accumulation of it all. Like, I just really feel done with it. I'm done with it. I'm not going on Facebook because I'm tired. What are you doing? You pathetic, sad little people who post your political opinion
Selfish
on Facebook. It's armchair activism. You stand up from your seat. Nobody's doing anything, but you all got to post your political view on Facebook. And I'm tired of it. It's not a political thing. It's dead. There's dead people. The bodies weren't even out of the club yet, and people are posting about the NRA or Obama sucks or Donald Trump this. Donald Trump is patting himself on the back for predicting it.
His second tweet told you it's coming. So let's talk about what actually happened. So there was a guy. His parents were Afghani. They moved here over 20 years ago when Afghanistan was our friends, because it's interesting. We were talking about. I was talking to my father-in-law about this the other night. It's interesting how when we were back in Afghanistan, because Afghanistan was fighting the Russians, we were helping the rebels. And then once they start fighting us, they're terrorists. It's interesting how the definition changes depending on which way the guns are pointed.
And this guy, we were saying, what is it? It wasn't terrorism. I mean, it was random. He called him pledge allegiance to
ISIL, Hezbollah, He said
all of them.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them.
I like them all.
Yeah, listen, I'm those guys.
And yet,
the Green Bay Packers. He said he did. I mean, it was like he did a whole lot of like, who, dude, really?
Actually, had he pledged allegiance to a football or baseball team, that would have gotten Americans more fired up than anything.
Right.
But it's now come out that he was a regular at this gay club, that he was driving away from where his traditional family was to go hang out in this gay club, and was on gay dating apps. And so.
And he had a wife and a kid.
So what?
And he had a religion that basically says that what he was committing is a deadly sin. Yeah. So here's what's going on this guy's head. On top of that, he was violent and abusive. He's got his wife left him because of it. So you've got this guy who's got a temper, incredibly frustrated because he's a gay man. He's a gay man. He's hanging out at gay clubs. He's actually on gay dating sites, and he's married with a kid. And his religion's beating on his head, telling him everything he does, every feeling he's having is evil. So he finally snaps and shoots up a gay club to get even, to purge himself. I don't know what it was. There was a pastor we were just talking about in Northern California who got on and said he wished that the guy had finished the job. And he called all the gay people pedophiles, everything. And we've got to get this guy's name because I would love to send. I'd like everybody to send.
Verity Baptist Church.
Verity
Verity.
Yeah.
They have a website. You can go listen to the audio.
Verity Baptist Church, guys. We can't. We have to go Gandhi on this one. If you can, fill out 10 magazine subscription cards for the Verity Baptist Church. If 100 people did that I'm going to do it. I'm going to fill out 10 magazine subscription cards, and I'm going to send them out, and the Verity Baptist Church is going to be getting a shitload of magazines. That's how you do it. You really want to annoy people? Let's make sure that if we all did that, we have quite a few listeners. Let's say we could get these guys 10,000 magazine subscriptions.
Gay porno mags.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Just send the ones that you buy.
Yeah.
So, and then old creepy
and I'll send mine. I'll send the
Pat Robertson, of course, had something to say, but seriously, we should just go ahead and euthanize that guy.
It looks like he already has been, doesn't he?
Oh, my
gosh. It looks like they've already started the embalming, man.
It looks like they put a broomstick in his back of his jacket because he's like almost face first on the desk, but not quite.
It's like he's fighting gravity all the time. Yes. He's about to go face down.
Weekend at Bernie's.
We have a country right now, and you know what? And right now, as we're doing this podcast, there is a Democrat on the floor doing a filibuster, demanding that we actually start having some sane gun laws. What's his name? I'd like to find his Twitter handle. And he is basically saying that enough's enough. Now, to you Democrats out there, you guys are over the top, kind of pussies. You don't hang long enough. The only one I know that'll throw a punch is Elizabeth Warren. So if we're going to use the same tactics as the other side, do it. Don't half-ass it. Be just as tough about saving Americans' lives as you would be about making sure somebody gets freaking
and again,
food stamps.
Just want to be totally clear.
Right.
I want people that should have guns to have guns, and I'm not. And when I say should have, I don't just mean law enforcement and military. I mean you and me.
I'm going to clear this up. Keep going.
Yeah, people that are willing, but I'm asking people to just get into a dialogue, because if you don't, then all you're doing is you're paying and feeding into the gun manufacturers lobbying and the prescription medication lobbying. If you think that millions of dollars are not
making
being
it easy
spent.
for terrorists that hate us coming to this country to get weapons. Here's what you're doing, guys. If no one's willing to talk about this, she's absolutely right. If nobody's willing to even sit down with people they don't agree with, and this is the problem with America right now. My family that I married into is an amazing family. They're great. And you know what? More than half of them are extremely right-wing, to the point where it's literally, you smell like Rush Limbaugh. I say that all the time. And I when I first met them, part of the family sat me down and go, which side are you on? Like, that was the first question that was asked me. Your aunt asked me, what side are you on? I go, what? Like, what? And she's like, what side are you on? You for Obama or for... And I was like, I'm for common sense.
Your uncle is retired EOD, and he's very right-wing.
Yeah. No, he was a UDT. He was Navy SEAL. And I have, and his son is EOD, and these people are masters with guns and bows and arrows. Like, honestly, if all the ammunition goes away in the apocalypse, please avoid my uncle, because he can hit you with an arrow from 400 yards. He's a badass.
The senator is Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut. Of course, he's got a dog in the hunt.
Connecticut.
Ed Markey of Massachusetts has now joined the filibuster. Here's what they're asking for, and here's what's funny to me, that they're receiving pushback. They're asking for, and they're going to remain on the floor until they get some sign that we can come together on this. They're asking for an action to deny firearms from suspected terrorists.
They're getting pushback from the right.
And to require universal background checks. They're not filibustering saying everyone should have their guns taken
away, right.
They're asking for terrorists
crazy.
to not get guns and for us to have universal background checks.
And here's the craziness, and here's what I believe. Two things. Number one, I believe Donald Trump's not going to make it to the end of the election. I think he's going to bail, and I also believe that the House is going to flip. Here's why. About 10 years ago, it started with Reagan, I think. Well, someone said it started with Tip O'Neill. We became this country of no longer compromise and getting it done, which is what the Founding Fathers wanted. If you want to talk about being a patriot and American, then that means you were on compromise and you try to get the country to come together. That's what I believe. I believe that I agree. I get that people don't agree with me, but let's sit down and sit down biometric. Let's show that biometric locks on weapons will work. Once people, I'll tell you what, gun guys are tech guys too. You show some gun guys that my kid can't pick up my gun and fire it, that I can actually leave it on the top of the refrigerator and it's safer than it's just safe as it would be in a locked box. Show those guys that. They'll be like, this is badass. It's badass. So I think we need to come together. We're to a point now where we won't even agree to sit down to talk. Like these guys, Obama's the president. They go, well, we're going to, people didn't say, no, they elected Barack Obama as president and he's got a Supreme Court nominee because one of them died. You guys won't even talk to him. That's when you stop being an American. When you actually stop the process of America, you stop being an American. You are no longer a patriot. You are no longer part of this country. As a matter of fact, right now you are a political terrorist in America. And this goes the same for the Democrats. The Democrats, anybody who does it's craven self-interest. You're a terrorist. You're a political terrorist. Mitch McConnell's a political terrorist. He really is. And I'm to the point now where I'm done with it. So let's take America back for common sense. I think I'm going to run for president after the special
That bumps
funds.
me when you say that. I think that
Nope.
yes, don't just say nope. You can't just say nope.
I just did.
Well, it doesn't
Nope.
hold any water here, Mr. Man.
All right.
I think that you have to be careful about being extreme in any given circumstance.
I'm not being extreme.
Calling
I'm saying
people terrorists and stuff, like, I just think it's a bit much, and it's what you're accusing that side of doing.
exactly, and that's my problem.
So no, don't say exactly. You can't just say nope and exactly. No.
I can too.
No, you can't. I think again,
Reverend.
No. You just
President Titus.
You just want to get into a dialogue where people aren't name calling. That's really extreme to call Mitch McConnell a political terrorist. Like, I just think you want to.
He shut down the political process. What is that? So he shut it down to the point where people are even afraid to deal with him. That's terrorism. When your actions actually cause people to be afraid, that's terrorism. That's textbook.
Stupid in headphones.
Is that all you got?
Look at him. He looks kind of cute and stupid at the same time. I just realized that I don't know that you've been this fired up before in those headphones. Are those new?
Yeah, these are the good ones that your mom got me.
Okay, because they're bigger. They're real
badass,
headphones.
yeah.
And
I look like
when
Mickey
you
Mouse.
get
I
mad-
look kind of. I literally look like Gary Busey and Mickey Mouse had some sort of weird genetic splicing accident.
The
Yes.
noggin is actually huge because I try to put those on when I'm setting it up, and they just slip right off my head.
That's right. I have a huge head.
Huge
Actually,
noggin.
and my head's so big they're really tight on me. Like they're pressing on
No
me.
way.
Oh yeah.
It's because your brain's so big.
That's exactly why.
My mom thinks so.
So, I disagree with you. You can't shut down.
Nope.
No. You
Nope.
can't just say nope.
Exactly.
Reverend. So, what would you call it then? When you shut down the process to the point where you won't even consider, like they won't even sit this guy down.
Bot.
Bot. Yeah, totally bot.
That's what I would call it.
Yeah, that's what we need to stop.
Bye-bye.
So
I'd
ladies
say
and-
boy bye. In the words of Beyonce, boy bye.
You can't just say boy bye.
Yes, you can. See you later. That's what we should be coming together on, too. Boy bye. Go home and tend to your garden and model trains, he would be a model train enthusiast too, like you say about
Mitch McConnell?
Bernie. Don't you think they would play trains together?
That's where they would come together.
That's where the compromise would come.
Yeah. If Bernie, because I always call Bernie Sanders just a lovable model train enthusiast,
so
and
cute.
Mitch McConnell, but they both have their little engineer caps on, and that's where shit would get done in the White House. If Bernie got elected, that's where it'd be in the basement. Doot doot. What do you think? I think we should do something here. Oh my God, is that an HO scale? That's beautiful.
I flocked it myself.
Okay, so you are trying to be the voice of reason. I think it doesn't work at all. Yeah, because no one within reason. Cause you're trying to be reasonable about what I said about political
I'm not
terrorism.
trying to be. I am.
You are reasonable, but those people aren't, and they're not sitting down. They won't even see this guy. They're not reasonable.
But that's like saying he pushed me first. You can't.
No, it's not at all. I'm saying that they're terrorists because they're unreasonable and they're stopping the American political process. The process that these guys hold up that was actually done by our founding fathers, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, that they designed this country to be what it is, they are putting the brakes on it. And I will tell you this right now. If Thomas Jefferson, and these guys keep throwing these fucking names up on Twitter, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, here's a quote. I finally said last night, I said, all right, you give me a quote where Benjamin Franklin says that in the future when 50 Americans are being killed by Americans, that it's okay and it's for liberty.
It's interesting because people have actually, if you read this BS on social media, they are so well versed in every little detail of
Liberty.
the kinds of weapons
Freedom.
that our founding fathers had and the kind of shot and or magazines and things like that. And I just feel like if they actually spent that much time just researching anything in general, the intellect level of this country would be above subpar.
Yeah.
But you can't say, this guy was saying, well, Thomas Jefferson, you idiot. He was calling Sarah Silverman an idiot, who said, was talking about how they never intended for this when they said to bear arms. It was unfortunate that she put BARE arms, the right to bear arms, because that just shuts down any listening from.
Especially as smart as Sarah Silverman is.
Somebody posted underneath, I believe that was first revolutionized with the T-shirt. Like people are just idiots. But this guy was like, you're stupid. You don't even know Thomas Jefferson had a 10 whatever magazine. And I'm thinking, so you're telling me that way back then,
when Spain or England was going to attack us,
it was all the same, and they fully conceived of these kinds of weapons that we have now and how fast these guns would shoot bullets and kill people. It's like saying that, like what you were saying, like they have a daguerreotype, but they somehow could have conceived of an iPad.
Oh, they knew the laptop was coming. Yeah.
Just by looking at the daguerreotype. So any laws they made that had to do with the daguerreotype would also apply.
Should totally be valid today.
It's so stupid.
What about laws from cheating on each other, guys? There was laws about like cheating or out of wedlock. Let's go back to those. How about women? Let's just go back to all the constitutional original laws about women.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do that too.
We were just following. Well,
you want to start a motherfucking revolution? Holy shit! Yeah, let's go back to the constitutional laws about women. So this constitutional argument is bullshit. Second Amendment, it was not written in stone. It was written on a living document that was designed to that. So guess what? We're gonna adjust it. And you know what? You're gonna still have your guns. You're just gonna have to just sit at the fucking, instead of the department of guns, you're gonna have to go to the DG. I gotta go to the gun department, GDD. Damn. You know what? They're so stupid at the gun department too.
It'd take forever.
Okay, how many magazines do you have? Can I see the registration numbers? But you know what? And they say, well, if I do that, then the government will know how many guns I have. They'll come and get my guns. As I said in Angry Pursuit of Happiness, they can't come and get your guns because you have guns. We should all jump in on that. They can't take your guns because you have guns.
Nope.
Exactly.
Can't just say no.
Reverend! I don't know why we're saying Reverend. I don't know
either.
That part.
It's a.
But I like the nope and exactly.
Reverend.
I don't get it.
There's a movie called Blazing Saddles.
Where
there's
it's another movie that I have.
Where he's doing a speech, and there's this drunk kind of hobo, like whitey guy. Just every time he'd say, we need to bring the town back, Reverend. This drunk guy's on a roof just going, Reverend. So that's why I yell it out. Nope.
Exactly.
Reverend.
He looked scared to say it.
He did. He was like, "Is that mine? I get the end? Oh my god."
We're going to be in Vegas this weekend, not talking about gun rights. If you want to come and see us,
no, we're doing a show about
super stoked
kids. About
going to Vegas. Love this place. Didn't think we would love this place in the beginning, and honestly, oddly stayed in the Trump Towers in Vegas and drove to the show at South Point Casino and Hotel, and
Trump
have
Towers.
absolutely fallen in love with the hotel, the people, the casino, everything.
Trump Towers, where no casino exists because Trump can't even cut a deal with Vegas.
Sucks to suck.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we're going to be at South Point Casino Hotel this Friday, one show. Yay, one show every night. Saturday, one show. And then Sunday, Father's Day, one show. Bring your dad out. Again, it's a perfect show for Father's Day, by the way.
It's all about kids. If you're, I'll say it again. If you're a parent, it's therapy. If you don't have kids, it's 90 minutes of birth control. And I want to say one more thing before we do our little ad. Guys, look, I'm pretty extreme when it comes to this issue, and my issue is not guns. I have nothing against guns. I have guns. I've shot guns. In the movie Special Unit, we use guns. Guns don't scare me because I know who I am. I know what I'm up for. I don't mind. My brother-in-law is a badass with a gun. As a matter of fact, if I got another gun, I would call him first. I don't mind if I want to own a deadly weapon to have to jump through some more hoops. That's all we're saying. To you people that really love it, I understand that you have no problem. I've had many gun owners call, tweet me or email me and say, "Dude, you know what, man? I wouldn't mind doing this to keep my guns." It's the people that keep throwing up these dumb bullshit arguments that have nothing to do with the subject. Here it is: piles of dead Americans. How much of a patriot are you? Are you willing to be part of that and stop it, or are you willing to just want what you want and be a selfish fuck? That's the choice. Am I a patriotic American who wants to stop the killing in my own country, or am I a selfish fuck that just wants to keep my weapons? That's it. Ask yourself that question. This podcast brought to you. No, it's a valid question. It's a valid question.
The wheels on the bus go
Round and round. Reverend!
No, I'm just trying. Let's have something happy before we go into the ad.
And now,
So that I can say when I tell them where the ad is, they don't hear any ranty.
is this a shavy ad or a streepy ad?
It's a shavy ad.
It's a shavy ad.
German engineered blades things.
This podcast was brought to you by
Harry's.
Harrys.com.
Yeah,
HARRYS.com/Titus, because you're so big, you've got your own URL.
Yeah, someone said it wasn't working. We have to double check it.
What?
Harry's face
I know
today.
it works because I bought my dad some and I bought my stepdad
This is 2
some.
days ago. It wasn't working.
Oh, well, that's a problem.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
they fired us.
Maybe it's possible.
Well,
As long as this check clears.
so this is brought to you by Harry's. We've talked about Harry's. You guys know how we feel about Harry's.
Even if they fired us, I'm still buying the razors.
Here's what I'm
I'm
love.
so in.
So I told you all the dudes in my family who are all retired military and or law enforcement and stuck in their ways. Holy crap, is my dad stuck in his ways. He uses the same brand of whatever it is for 50,000 years.
He was using the Eli Whitney razor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who did the cotton gin.
No, he actually has animals that, like the Flintstones, that
That
eat the hair off
that
of his
nibble his tail.
face. So my dad has actually asked for Harry's razors for Father's Day. And I could almost tell that he didn't want to ask for them because he felt like he was losing, like he was giving something up.
Right.
Then my stepfather made a list for my mom. She asked him to make a little list of things he could use for Father's Day, and Harry's was the top thing, Harry's razors, which he never even said a word about after he opened the razor for Christmas from us. No, oh, this is nice. Knowing he would never use it. Apparently he tried it. My mom said the other day, she said that, he said it's the best razor he's ever used.
That's the weird thing is that you here's what you think. You think, well, how good can the razor be? And you know, because I used the Gillette 3-blade for a long time, and then you get that 5-blade, and it's like. I remember the first time I did it, I was like, my skin was like, squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. It was so smooth, and so I'm in love. And someone had a box of blades at my house, and I said, great, these are mine. No, they're not. They're going to my dad.
For my stepdad.
No, these are mine.
He actually opened the box and started pulling them out to take upstairs. So I said, no,
Son of a bitch.
Nay.
Guys, Harrys.com, I'm not lying. Listen, you know I stand for what I stand for, and if your product was crap, I sure as hell wouldn't be whoring it. Everybody has ordered it online from this show and has sent me a tweet about it has been totally stoked and said it's the best razor they ever had. I'm not kidding. No bullshit. Harrys.com.
/Titus.
Yeah.
Use promo code Titus. You get $5 off your first order. Go and get your dad something he'll actually use for Father's Day. Don't get him socks.
Yeah, help your dad face the day. All right. Harrys.com. There
Although
you go.
I did get you a sock subscription one time, and that ended up being pretty cool.
That's pretty
I got
cool.
that for my mom for Christmas. Every month she gets a new pair of
He does
interesting
too.
socks.
They're funky, and it's the gift that keeps
Funky.
giving. He
The best
opens it,
socks
and he's
ever.
like,
It's
wow,
like
this is
it's
super
like if
cool.
George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic sent me socks every month.
Is that where you got those superhero POW
Yeah,
socks from?
they're in the movie.
nice.
Those are
Oh,
in the
yeah,
movie.
that's right.
Those
I
are in the
forgot.
movie.
Great.
They are great.
Speaking of that, guys, the movie's come along phenomenal. Fetus and I have been locked in a room together, smelling each other's farts for a couple months now,
Gross.
editing
Oh my
this
gosh.
movie, and we got it done. Right now, it's about an hour and 50 minutes, and it's really funny. We're going to take 7 more minutes out today. I am telling you, it's to the point now where I'm excited. We watched it live. I watched it last night. I watched the cut last night.
Yes.
And my father-in-law sat there, and I said, and we got done, and I go, did that feel like an hour 50? He goes, no, not at all. So it's moving, it's funny. Special. Don't know when it's coming out. We'll keep you informed. But now I'd like to go from sea to shining sea, continent to continent, and sometimes space. It's Bombshell Rae bringing you the Bombshell News. That was really anticlimactic.
A woman, I feel bad. This woman made me think of your dad, except a woman has been accused of asking her children to blow into her ignition interlock device just so that she could drive while drunk with the kids in the car.
That's my dad in
Is that
a
what they're
nutshell.
calling it now?
What?
But they didn't call. Did they have DUIs back then with your dad? Because your dad,
My dad
seemed
did a
to
night-
think it was quite normal.
My
to-
dad did a night in jail. Don't you remember that bit from my dad got busted on television?
Oh, he actually spent a night in jail.
My dad got busted on television. He actually it was Memorial Day. They were doing a checkpoint thing, and my dad came home drinking. They stopped him. He got stuck in a checkpoint. They stopped him. They were filming. The local news was filming, doing that. Hey, if you're going to be out there, if you're going to be drinking to drive, don't go this way, or you shouldn't be. Get a ride home because the checkpoints are. And my dad's behind him, and I had painted his car. I had put scallops and stuff. It was baby blue, purple, and black, and so it was the only car like it. And the car's on TV, and my dad's touching his nose and getting interviewed, and he gets arrested. And I didn't see it. What happened was he got arrested and we did an episode in Titus about it.
But was there a real video of it?
Yes. He was on the news that night. So he gets busted. He goes to jail. Spends the night in a drunk tank. You know what they don't do? What they didn't do is my dad didn't call anybody. He did not want to be anybody up his ass and the family about it, so he stayed in jail, got up the next day, paid to get his car to impound, drove home, didn't say a word to anybody. Not a word. I guess he got hired a lawyer. He's going to get out of the DUI. Ray, he didn't say a word. 2 days later, our neighbor, a couple houses down, comes over and goes, "How's it going, Hollywood?" And my dad goes, "Hollywood?" He goes, "Yeah, we saw you on Monday night getting busted for drunk driving." And so about 2 weeks after that, I come up from LA to see my dad, and my dad goes, "All right, I got to tell you something." And he tells me this story, and as he gets to the point where the guy said, "What's up, Hollywood?" And I asked what he meant. I was on the floor. I was going to puke. I was laughing so hard. He's like, "You're not putting this in your show." You're right. I'm putting it on TV, motherfucker. It's going in my show,
Poor
and
dad.
I put it on TV.
Yes.
By the way, be careful what you say and do to your children because someday they may become comedians.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Another DUI arrest, actually, in Knoxville. This guy's 35 years old. He gets arrested for a DUI. When they pull him over, they see that he's wearing red mesh see-through hose, which would be fishnets.
Wow.
A ribbon tied in his goatee, and some kind of little skirt is the quote from Sheriff Bobby Joe Higgs.
Of course, Sheriff Bobby Joe.
He has also had a chastity belt around his private parts.
Son, can you get out of that car? I'm Sheriff Bobby. Hey, do me a favor, just step. Whoa, son. What kind of little skirt is that? Can I see your license? This ain't you. Well, you ain't wearing fishnets in this picture, son. You know what we used to do to people like you? But that's a nightmare. So
It was locked. His chastity belt was locked, and the key had been in the console of the car. They get him to the station. Apparently, it presented all sorts of problems. He also had a handgun, just to tie that into the purpose of this podcast. But he had a buddy. He had a little buddy in the car with him, too, that may have also been holding the key. So they were having a little, this was foreplay.
Oh, no.
He blew almost a
He blew his little buddy? What are you talking about?
No.
Or play responsibly.
Well,
Yeah, what's
probably
going on?
That too, but yeah.
What was his blood alcohol level?
0.2 almost.
No, 0.2. So 0.08 is legal. 0.2. Wow, that's double the legal limit. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
What state was this?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, maybe in Tennessee. I think that's not even barely legally in Tennessee. I blew a 6'9". Woohoo!
Some kind of little skirt.
Going for the record. He got some kind of little skirt.
Apartment complex threatens to evict non-Facebook friends. This is Salt Lake City. Residents say that they were outraged to be threatened with eviction if they refused to friend the complex on Facebook. City Park Apartments said the Facebook addendum taped to their doors Thursday night ordered them to friend the apartment complex on Facebook within 5 days or be found in breach of their rental agreements.
What? You can't do that?
I feel bad for the old lady. It's like, what's
a Facebook?
What's a Facebook?
They're saying that you're not allowed to not like certain things, and you need to be fine with them posting pictures of you and your visitors.
In Utah, that's a little Nazi-ish. You will sign up. You will click like. You will click like. What is going on?
People were mad, so it backfired, and the apartment actually had a 1.1 star rating on Facebook
and Yelp
out of 5, and they shut the page down. You idiots. Anyway, Canadian woman impersonates elderly mother to take her driving test.
Oh,
nice.
wow.
She's now facing criminal charges after police say she impersonated her elderly mother, 73 years old, in an attempt to take her driving test for her. The instructor became suspicious after the 73-year-old woman who was scheduled to take her test appeared to be a much younger woman wearing an old wig, glasses, and more suited to an older person.
No. And she got arrested and probably going to do jail time because she wanted to get a driver's license. Yet this dude actually bought weapons. And he was under investigation by the FBI. Oh,
be unbroken.
Reverend!
Mother Goose knocks on police car door for help with tangled gosling. This was sent in by Ashley Cashman. She sent in our news correspondent.
What?
She's back. She sent in a bunch of stories, and she loves animals. She happens to have many chickens, and so she just loved this story. This was in Cincinnati. A mother goose that happened a couple weeks ago actually knocked on the door of a Cincinnati police cruiser in her search for help for her gosling, who was tangled.
He tangled up in that.
In a Mother's Day.
My gosling tanger. Here, me, please.
Mother's Day balloon string. He initially thought, the Sergeant James Gibbon thought that she was hungry when she used her little beak and she peck on his door. And he said she wouldn't stop pecking. And normally he said that the geese don't come near them. They avoid them and
he was asking for help. The goose was asking for help.
She was asking for help. And he said that it made him, because she wasn't angry. She wasn't attacking. She was just peck on his door. So finally it made him get out and look, and she led him to the baby. She actually, as soon as he got out, she started trotting towards the baby who was tangled in a balloon string.
The baby goose.
Baby goose.
Excuse me, officer. If you could please follow me.
Listen, I've read the side of the police car. It says to protect and serve. Well, I could use some serving right now. Can you give me a hand? I know you're out of your jurisdiction, but listen, I got a baby duck over here that's having some trouble.
But you can go and watch the video of him untangling them.
That's pretty cool.
Super cute.
Super cool, right?
Go ahead, because he's chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
He found a news story. Where were we?
Where were we?
I don't know. We were in the car, and you said, I've got a news story I'd like to submit to the Titus podcast.
Well, first he had set it up. I'd like to ask a question about something possibly in the future. Can we talk about?
Yes.
What would you like to? It's a news story that I found. Is it okay if I talk about it?
He said
Jesus Christ, just give me the fucking story.
No, he wanted to submit it to the Titus podcast.
I want to submit a news story.
Okay, we'll submit it now while we're on the Titus podcast.
Okay. Rancher lassos bike thief outside Oregon Walmart, police say. This was in Eagle Point, Oregon.
Oregon.
Biker, is it a bicycle or a motorcyclist?
I think it was just like a bike.
I enjoy Oregon and Connecticut. Oregon.
Connecticut.
A rancher jumped
Say the name of that state again?
Oregon.
Oh. Why'd you change it?
Oregon.
Because I said it like an idiot.
You know what? Self-aware has become, since he did the forum, his self-awareness
is the way up.
It's really
hard for him not to be self-aware when I'm like, bah!
Yeah, you don't stop.
At everything he says.
A rancher jumped on his horse Friday morning and lassoed a man who was trying to steal a bicycle in the parking lot of an Oregon.
Oh, my gosh.
Just say it like you say it, Canada.
Walmart police said Robert Borba was at the Eagle Point store loading dog food in a camping tent into his truck when he heard a woman screaming that someone was trying to steal her bike. The 28-year-old said he quickly got his horse, Long John out of its trailer. He grabbed a rope, rode over to the man who was reportedly struggling with the bike gears, and attempted to flee on foot. Borba lassoed the man around the legs, and when he dropped, Borba dragged him to one end of the parking lot.
Where in Oregon was this?
Eagle Point.
Here's what I love. I love that he didn't just take the guy out. He's like, boy, you steal a bike around these parts, you're going to get drug across the parking lot. I'm dragging you over to the Bed Bath & Beyond.
Here are quotes from Borba. I seen this fella trying to get up to speed on a bicycle. I wasn't going to catch him on foot. I just don't run very fast. I use a rope every day. That's how I make my living. If it catches cattle pretty good, it catches a bandit pretty good.
Bandit. He used the word bandit. I love that dude. That dude can have a gun. That guy gets a gun. No problem at all. I love that dude. That's amazing. I love that he drug him across the parking lot. That's because it's asphalt. He drug his ass across. Boy, hey, my horse won't stop. Sorry. Come on. Yo, yeah. Come on, Long John. Hold on. Long John. Stop.
Oh,
clap,
another bandit.
Clap. How you like being a bandit now, boy?
Well, he's bright red. The end result of this story is that your eyes are a little glassy. You're like
Good
purple.
job.
You're so red.
Yeah.
You look like...
I'm pretty embarrassed I pronounced Oregon.
Oregon.
Actually,
Washington.
For someone
California.
like you, California. For someone like him, I think this is going to linger for a few days.
Nevada.
Oregon.
The sting.
Oregon.
He's purple. I wish that this sometimes were a video podcast, except for the fact that we don't wear pants.
Idaho. That's all. I'm just going to overpronounce every state. Montana. I'm just going to pronounce every state weird. You got another story?
Dakota.
You got one more? Or you want to let him have the final one? You got one more?
You should probably just wash it clean and
No.
Trust
me. After my opening Armageddon update, trust me, we've lost everybody's. We have
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I hate you guys.
We have 4 people listening.
Virginia. I'm a big fan of North and South, East and West Virginia.
Me too.
There's a gigantic...
Stop. That's why West Virginia. Stop. We're not ready for that. You didn't. I said no.
There is a gigantic street legal shopping cart that goes 50 miles per hour that I think you need. Anytime I see anything that shouldn't go fast that goes really fast, I get that story.
It's giant,
it's
right? Is this the one with the wheel rims on it and stuff? I think
it's huge. Have you seen it?
I think they used this on one of the Jackass movies.
2 times as high as a person. It can go 50 miles per hour on the open road. It's not a regular size. It's huge. It's like a car.
But does it look like a car? Or does it look like a shopping cart?
No, it's a shopping cart. It's 9 feet tall and 12 feet long. It can hold 6 people and 146 grocery bags. It's street legal and drivable. It has a steering wheel in it. And it'll go 50 miles per hour.
You know what? I've had a lot of issues with Costco, and just not. I love Costco, but getting stuff out of there—that's what you need. And I bet you it would fit in the aisles too. The aisles are so wide. Some dickheads will park their cart in the middle and just stand there and stare.
So
just when we were talking about
Costco for him is like.
I've gotten over it. I'm better now.
It's the wild, wild west.
It really is, man. People just randomly parking their carts in the middle, and then they stop and they just stare at the shelves. Like, hey, move your cart to the side, douchebag.
Not everyone is, like a professional Costco shopper. Like some people like to browse and stare.
Then park your cart to the side. Then pull your cart to the side. These are the same people that
I am overcome by the large quantities of products that I don't really need.
I do not know.
I am frozen mid-stride.
So they just hear,
yeah,
in their heads, and they can't believe it.
Because I don't go all the time with you, but everyone knows in our family that you love some Costco.
Love me some Costco. Love me some Costco.
Maybe in order to get a membership, there should be like a test you have to take and a registration fee.
There is. You have to pay a registration fee. Yeah. But you should your first time you should go through with a helper, a greeter, and he walks you through and he goes, "Okay, look, if you're going to stop the cart, just pull it to the side a little bit because other people got to get through." Or at the end of the, you know what I do? By the way, you guys want to know my Costco style?
Oh, I've gone Costco.
I know your Costco style.
What's my Costco style?
Brutal and embarrassing.
No, I don't yell
at
a lot of. Not anymore.
Could you please pull your cart to the side? Thanks.
Hey, how about you get out of the way?
Hey, kid, quit
Costco
running.
like you drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but I'm also never in the way. I'm never in the. So
No,
you wanna
you're
be.
not. That's
I'm
true.
never in the way. Even what I do now. So what I do now is because I got tired of going in the aisles and all these idiots. What I do now is at Costco, I go ahead and make the left, and I park my cart up against the rack at the end, and then I walk down the aisle, grab what I want, walk up the other aisle, grab my cart, push it to the next aisle, 10 feet. Also, I'm doing a lot less miles on the Costco cart. So my Costco carts, I'm really helping them maintain, not putting a lot of miles on it, and I am actually not getting in anybody's way, and that's the biggest problem.
I'm never going to get this time back in my life.
Get out of my way.
Ever.
Pull
actually are so wound up. You are tightly wound, my little friend, that you have a method for how you get your cart through Costco.
It's efficient. I get it done better.
You
I get done.
park it on one end. I walk up.
That's why your brother and I, although we don't believe everything the other one believes, we would be in Armageddon. Your brother and I are going to be fine.
Oh, he would love that. He would love that approach. He is so structured. Well, you got to put your hands at 10 and 2. And when you drive, you got to look straight ahead. You got to sit straight up. You got to sit. My brother. Interesting that you bring that up. Just to bring this all around. My brother, like I said, often he's a federal agent and he will travel armed when we go on tour.
Yes.
And he, every night, first night we're together in a hotel room, we all sit around the table, have a glass of wine, and you and he start...
Or 9.
Go back... Well, I was trying to be, you guys will start going back and forth. My brother he's registered Republican, but he's not... He's open-minded.
He's smart. He actually
has
common
sense. He used
sense.
to listen to Rush Limbaugh. But you guys sit, you go back and forth, you both present your arguments, and then we hug each other and we all go to bed.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what we're talking about on this podcast.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to misconstrue what I said today. They're going to say that, he's anti-guns. Well, no, I don't. I just think that we actually need to get smart. And getting smart doesn't mean you have to give up something you love. It just means you maybe have to work a little harder to keep it or get it. If the hassle is the hassle. You're owning a deadly weapon. What are you willing to hold it tight for that, to be responsible with it? Why do we have to be so responsible with cars, but we're not responsible with guns? That's all I'm saying. And I'm very angry that 50 more people died. Christina Grimmie, no reason. Guy walked up and just shot her in the face. It's people. It's crazy. Does anyone else get that Americans are dying by Americans? It's crazy. We need to stop it. I'm Christopher Titus. Thanks for listening to Titus Podcast. For myself, Bombshell, and the fetus. Later.
Peace out.
See ya.
Listen, you guys need to lighten up. We're all going to cry. Stop, wipe the tears. Hey, when 50 die, we don't have to do dick jokes. We're fine.